Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this second session of iPaaS integration. You are all well-wishers of either Apna Infotech or Nanopotian, or interested in understanding more about iPaaS integration and the platform Nanopotian, which we are going to deep dive into today. Our two other panelists are Alex, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Nanopotian and one of the founding members, as well as co-creators of the platform NanoConnect, which we are going to deep dive into today. And Hartik, who is Vice President Technology at Apna Infotech and has been spearheading this initiative from our side. We will start the day with general introductions and a quick recap of the previous session. Alex and Hartik have both prepared story-like case studies of how this iPaaS integration has positive impact on customers, and what are the case studies who are potential people requiring such a platforms, who would benefit from such platforms. And then we have actually presented a couple of case studies. And finally, like I said, we would be towards the end, we would be discussing Q&A. So first, a quick introduction of the topic itself. Serverless integrations offer scalable, cost-effective ways to integrate applications without infrastructure worries. I'm Abhijit Roy, founder and CEO of Apna Infotech. I'm an entrepreneur who believes in building organizations which are known for their great culture. I have more than 30 years of experience in delivering exceptional software solutions across the globe, various geographies such as USA, Australia, Middle East, and of course, India. My vision is to create an inclusive workplace where team members thrive personally as well as professionally, as well as an ecosystem of our partners where each and everyone benefits and grows. Apna Infotech is an elite team of professionals who deliver service excellence through extreme passion, optimizing technology costs using zero wastage technologies, and like I said before, an awesome organization culture. We are known for our great culture, an inclusive workplace, our commando approach, which is focused, goal-oriented, and honorable, being extremely passionate about service delivery, quality, and technology. And our partnership model, where we believe strong, lasting, mutually beneficial partnerships are the key to success. Apna Infotech is constantly investing in its future. Our current journeys are a set of products targeted towards enabling virtual organizations to be successful, Mera Monitor and Fundu Friday, and hyper automation, where we have built competence in a set of low-code platforms and RPA tools. And finally, the reason why we are all here today, our foray into integrations. Today, we will be talking about our new partnership with Nanopotian and their two flagship products, NanoConnect and PayConnect. As part of our development projects, we have been doing lots and lots of integrations, whether it is a mortgage bank or a golf aggregator. Today is the era of integrations, and the world of IT is dependent on systems talking to each other. We are now partnering with Nanopotian, who have built the platform NanoConnect, which has seen lots of success in the Australian market, even competing with the likes of Boomi and MuleSoft. They also have a tool, PayConnect, which is specific to HR-related solutions, which is a core competence at Apna and thus close to our heart. The two tools are a great fit for the Indian market. NanoConnect is the flagship product, and it simplifies the process of data integration with the ability to get data in and out of any platform with a single line of code. Developers have freedom to build solutions of unconstrained simplicity that run on demand and execute reliably every time. PayConnect is the customized version of NanoConnect dedicated to integrating various HR softwares with payroll softwares. When it comes to payroll integration, you need much more than just middleware. With more than 30 years of experience in implementing payroll solutions, we know how to help you structure this data and processes to ensure a successful integration project. PayConnect comes with loads of built-in features to enable easy integrations in the HR world. And the best part is that such wealth of features are being added every day. So as we move forward, we plan to partner with software development companies and HR product companies. For software development companies, we will be providing the expertise in platform integration and also provide additional support in custom integration as they in turn provide these solutions to their end customers. For HR software companies, we will provide integration services to their clients, as we have seen this to be a typical challenge in software adoption. And we consider this to be a huge value add for HR software companies who are trying to sell their software. We will obviously be finding and servicing customers directly who are needing such integration services. And we will, of course, we hope to be able to find enough customers to provide customer references to our partner network. In essence, we are out to build a powerful ecosystem. We'll be conducting regular webinars, networking opportunities, enabling collaborations, and co-marketing opportunities. We'll soon be inviting our partners to work with us on such initiatives. PayConnect has a special place at Apna, as I mentioned earlier, as we understand HR very well and consider it to be our strong point. In the first webinar, we discussed about serverless integration at a high level and its benefits. We also touched upon a bit of NanoConnect and PayConnect. Serverless integrations offer a scalable, cost-effective way to integrate applications without infrastructure costs and worries. Serverless integration saves about 50 to 70% in development cost, depending upon the workload. Serverless applications are highly scalable, reliable, secure, and fault tolerant, and lead to application to significantly lower total cost of ownership. We spoke about NanoConnect benefits like automatic scaling, segregated computers for each integration, segregated client infrastructure, reduced IT ownership, improved security, and high availability and reliability. I would now like to invite Alex from Nanopotian, and who is a key force behind this platform and this partnership. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you for the introduction, Abhijit, and it's a pleasure to be here today for this second in a series of webinars where we'll be diving into integrations. And today, I think just to begin, I wanted to share with the audience a real world example of a obviously names changed here, but a CTO in industry who, like many other CTOs, was in search of an integration platform solution. So in this case, our CTO's name is Joe, to protect the organization. But as far as an example in terms of relating this back to the industry in which Joe works, he works in the e-commerce space, where they have a lot of systems and a lot of data that needs to be integrated between those systems and solutions they have. And some of those are legacy platforms, and some are quite modern. So in search for an answer, Joe turned to the mass marketing engines of Google and found a low-code, no-code platform called Boomi in this particular case. And what he found actually, and his developers found very rapidly, is that the simplicity of the drag and drop interface of a low-code platform quite often struggled to deal with the complexities of the enterprise integrations that his team needed to develop. And as the business went about trying to solve those problems, the developers need to generate workarounds and hacks in order to solve those technical issues. To Joe's, I guess, despair, as time went on, what they also found, unfortunately, was that the low-code platform that they were using had scalability issues. And so as the demand grew, as the business was growing, so too did the need for additional compute. And when those compute requirements weren't being met, quite often would lead to slowing down of the performance of the platform, frequent outages, and in the most critical case, data not being sent from platform A to B. In fact, finding quite quickly that it was very easy for their platform to be down for 1 to 2 days, having a significant impact on their bottom line. And so when we think about the integration platform and the tools that are available today, quite often we think in terms of that technology, the performance, the reliability, But what we don't think about is the potential impact that these solutions can have on, for example, business continuity. And so for Joe, that was at the forefront of his mind as he went about to the market again to look for a solution that not only could solve his scalability issues, but could be more reliable in terms of a platform that could grow with his organization. So Joe, through a process of discovery, actually happened upon NanoConnect, which is a platform built entirely for his very use case. In fact, to Joe's delight, the platform, which was built around and for developers, allowed his developers who are familiar with Java and JavaScript to rapidly onboard and be able to build integrations within a day or 2 days with minimal training. And so gone were the days of actually having to train a person for months in order for them to be capable in the platform and understand how to work around all the limitations of that platform, and instead using tools that they're already familiar with, the development experience actually started to accelerate. One of the key benefits for the developers was the fact that they were able to build their integrations in code, and specifically in JavaScript. And with the library of connectivity that we provided to different platforms and the fact that our platform handles the authentication and the credential management, they were able to build as complex a logic as they required, completely unconstrained. To Joe's delight, the serverless nature of the platform meant that as the demand steadily increased, and as more and more systems were connected, the platform automatically scaled with that demand, meaning that every single integration was able to receive a high availability and reliability as it ran. It was able to adapt to different types of integration patterns, and also provided the ability to host data and use that data and serve that data as applications and APIs within the business as well. Further, more for Joe, one of the key outcomes for him that was really resolved through this was the reliability. And so as it was critical to their business that certain systems were integrated and that those integrations were real time, and the fact that quite often in the legacy systems and the legacy iPaaSes that they'd used, there was often downtime for upgrades and maintenance and so forth. With the serverless and code as infrastructure as code deployment that NanoConnect has, it allowed platform updates to be released without any downtime. And so, to sum it all up, Joe not only had a scalable platform that could scale to billions of transactions a day, with 11 nines of reliability in terms of data security, data reliability and security there. It meant that his IT overhead in terms of managing the solution was actually reduced, leading to a happier CFO who had, wasn't experiencing year-on-year increases in licensing and operational costs of their platform, and with a tangible view of, demand and the cost of their infrastructure as compared to the demand for those services. And importantly, led to a very happy CEO who could then get on with his strategy of growing the business without worrying about the technology. And so I might hand over now to Hardik, who will talk a little bit about another example of a CIO, apologies, in the market in which Avna operates.
Thank you, Alex. So I am Hardik, and as Abhijit already introduced, I'm VP Technology and working as Solution Architect at Apna. So let me also start with the similar experience with Ramesh, who's the CIO. Ramesh is a very smart and dynamic CIO of a product company. He has been instrumental in success of the product built under his technical leadership. His product is primarily integrates with multiple third-party platforms and to fetch the orders as well as to serve the orders. He was building and developing all these integrations with in-house team. So here is what Ramesh and his team were doing. So they were developing the integrations. They were doing security assessment and security implementations. They were also implementing data privacy compliances, redundancy and failover management. They were load testing and monitoring and alerts management. All these activities they were all doing in the in-house. In the recent past, his company started facing challenges with the product performance as the clients grew, load data grew, and Also, his company started facing the sales number decline. Ramesh was challenged with increased demand, which created infrastructure scaling up issues, increased the cost of integration development, uh, longer integration life cycles, and longer time to go to market, and losing out on competition because competitions were releasing a new integration at much quicker pace. Uh, Now, when the revenue got impacted, the entire top management got into a huddle, and someone connected Ramesh with Apna and Nanopushian. And after that, he realized that there is a light at the end of tunnel. His pain would be eased by using iPaaS solution, which is offered by Nanopushian as a NanoConnect. Upon hearing about NanoConnect, Ramesh's concern transformed into a sense of relief and joy, and he promptly embarked on a journey to use NanoConnect to address his integration requirement, resulting in a significant ease of his concerns. Now, how and why this happened? So iPaaS platform bring in it has got inbuilt authentication and authorization, which made integration very easy. Flexibility and freedom for developers because developer can use JavaScript coding. Increased productivity because there are mundane tasks that are taken care of by the platform itself. There is a scaling up, unconstrained scaling up. There is no scale up challenges because it's a cloud native platform. Worry-free infrastructure team and quick turnaround with reduced cost and better quality. This all set of features resulted in increase in his business, and his product is back on the growth trajectory. So finally, Ramesh is happy, and I would say be like Ramesh. So let me again hand over back to Alex, and he will also give a little bit more glimpse on how we can utilize NanoConnect.
Thank you for thank you for that. Thank you, Hardik. In our first webinar, we covered off a little bit about NanoConnect, and today I'd just like to dive in a little bit deeper in terms of what it is and how it actually functions. And I know that in a follow-up webinar on this, we're actually going to get in and actually demonstrate the developer experience in a hands-on session in the coming months. But for today, I thought I would give you an overview and a bit of a deeper dive into the specifics of the platform. And so, for those who don't know much about serverless, it is a cloud-native technology solution that allows compute to be to be turned on and turned off on demand. And so, with the design of our platform, every single integration that runs on our platform runs within its own compute space. For the milliseconds or minutes or or however long duration it requires in order to carry out that integration. And the moment that integration is complete, that compute is then turned off, leading to significantly lower infrastructure costs. And so as a platform, not only is it highly scalable, with being out of the box, able to process more than 13 billion transactions a day without having to pick up the phone to call the cloud service provider. But it also comes with all of those service level guarantees that a cloud service provider does, like AWS provides, and that is 11 nines of reliability for your data. And so gone are the days of needing to have backups of backups of backups and archiving your data. We have that inherent protections built into the platform because of the nature of its design. It is highly scalable, as I mentioned. It's highly secure through a shared responsibility model. It's fault tolerant, and from our research and looking into different integrations built on other platforms, we know for a fact that it is the lowest cost of ownership as compared to any other iPaaS on the market. The platform includes application integration, orchestration, credential management, as Hardik has mentioned, the ability to create credentials and use those credentials in your application in a secure way. It provides, and probably core to the platform is connectivity to other systems through the ability to get data into and out of any system with a single line of code. And it allows you to build integrations that are event-driven, either via synchronous or asynchronous APIs, file transfer, schedule-based applications, however you want to build your integration. Perhaps most importantly is our ability to pick up this platform and deploy it into a customer's environment. anywhere in 247 different locations around the world. So challenges with regards to data sovereignty, and even customer requirements for their own hosting of a solution. We're able to do that, even though the technology is a completely serverless technology stack. And so just to give you an idea of the experience of a developer, you would log into the platform and create a credential to some system that you might be using or want to connect, whether that's Microsoft Graph or Salesforce or NetSuite or Oracle or any other platform that is available and is connected to the internet in some way or another. Having created and stored those credentials, which are encrypted and at rest, you then go about and configure an application in the user interface, and that application really is configured what you're doing in the interface is configuring how the application will perform. And so it might be that it is a scheduled integration that runs on at a certain time every day or a certain day of every month, and you can configure that in the user interface. Not only that, but you can also parameterize your application. So you can create a solution based on a single code base, which can actually be deployed to multiple clients through parameterization. Importantly, as I mentioned, our platform is built around the idea of providing developers the tools they need for integrations. And so we allow, through a very simple templated JavaScript file, the ability to create code and the ability to bring in your own libraries that facilitate that code development process. But importantly, for the developer, we handle the communications through our libraries with other platforms. And that's where the real speed of development comes into play. Then no longer do you need to create your own OAuth 2 authentication flows and handle that for every system that you might talk to, and handle the complexities of the authentication models of these different platforms. It's built into the system. And so you just write your code and use our libraries to talk to those platforms, much like you would use any other tool like Axios, for example, as a library. Importantly, as a developer, you want to be able to see how your code is running and how your app's performing. And so we provide logging and APIs and other tools for you to assess the performance of your solution that you're developing. I mentioned a single line of code, and I just wanted to give you an example of what that looks like in a real world application. And so here we see two very similar single lines of code. One is making a connection request to Microsoft Graph, and is consuming the Graph API through the options that are provided within the call to that function. Equally easy is to hit the Salesforce API. And so you'll see actually within that options configuration, you could do anything you want. You could be performing a GET request, a POST request. You could be putting data, deleting data, anything that is part of a typical HTTP type request. But also we have connectors for SFTP, and we have connectors for other systems where there are unique handshakes between those platforms. And so we provide not only specific connectors to certain platforms, we also provide universal connectors that allow you to talk to any basic authenticated or any OAuth 2 authenticated platform on the planet. Much like you might be familiar using Postman to set up a credential in Postman and then use it in your requests, we have a very similar type of philosophy in how you can consume those credentials. Importantly, however, the developer actually never gets to see that secret again once it's put into the platform. It is securely stored. Instead, what they are passing into these modules that we provide available is the metadata about that credential, so that the system can then perform a series of checks to know that this application belongs to this client, this credential belongs to this client, and there's a whole bunch of security checks that happen in the background before those requests are made. To give you an idea of an example use case, this is a very real example that we currently have operating for a customer who is a managed service provider. And so they provide outsourced IT support to their customer, of which they have more than 100 customers. And every single month they would prepare a monthly report to those customers. And those reports were very time-consuming to create. and very different for every customer. Instead, what they wanted to be able to do is create a platform where the customer can log in and see a 360-degree view of their entire Azure and Microsoft and ticketing and SharePoint environments. And so in this example, we are able, through a single application developed on the platform, to collect data across all 100 tenancies, across their Office 365 utilization data, including all of their Azure cost reporting for the last 13 months, and as in addition to real-time reporting of cost, brought into the platform and hosted there, and then served up to Power BI with row-level security enabled, which then allows that customer to, or that MSP, to invite their customers in and see their own data without the risk of actually seeing another customer's information. In this example, you'll see we're also pulling in ticketing data from a ticketing system called ConnectWise, and that's not going through the platform. And so what we're articulating here is that NanoConnect is a tool that fits within the toolbox of data integration, but it doesn't have to be the one platform that does everything. It can be used at certain times for different things. And what's great about what we have here, when we see those 30 lines of code that provide data out to an API for Power BI, is that those 30 lines of code are reusable for every single API that we want to create going forward. And in fact, if you're a developer on our platform and you're onboarded and you're keen to get started, we provide some of those sample codes directly to you, including Hardik's team who have been through the process of training with us. We provide templates of example code to get you started. And so in terms of an onboarding experience, it's actually quite rapid for someone who has already done a little bit of JavaScript work before in the past. I'll now hand over to Hardik, who'll talk about a case study in the market in which they're operating.
Thanks, Alex, for this detailed explanation of NanoConnect. Let me explain an integration use case at Apna. Apna's PMO team needed an integration which involved taking an employee data, which was coming through an email attachment, and transform it to JSON, and then add it to the time tracking software. The data file include employee time spent on a projects and task. With this integration, our PMO team can easily track and manage employee time spent without manual intervention. Now, how did NanoConnect help to achieve this? To achieve any integration, NanoConnect, there are 4 steps after you sign up and log into the NanoConnect platform. Step 1, credential setup. Step 2, application setup. Step 3 is write your code, which is using JavaScript. And the last step is to validate and integration review of the logs. So let me explain step 1. So this is the platform's actual screenshot. And to integrate the platform, first thing is to credential setup. So as Alex mentioned, credentials can be set up only once. So there is no need to write a single line of code for any type of credentials, whether it's OAuth2 or any other authentication system. No need to share the credential with developers. Developer can use developer metadata for the credentials. So the client who is skeptical about his confidentiality, they can actually create a credentials on their own and then can be utilized by developer in the code. If you see the screenshot, the credential are set up only once and they cannot be viewed at all after that. Once it is done, it is done. And this makes NanoConnect a very secure platform. Step 2. Step 2 is the application setup, where create an application. You enter a desired name of application. You choose a correct platform, application module, and the type of application, whether you want to use it as an API, as a webhook, the scheduled job, or an S3 event. We also select the credential which needs to be used in this application. So once you create an application, we will have to select the credential also, and that is the credential metadata, which we utilize in the code. Now we write a code. We open application which we created in the previous step. Now in that application, we are going to upload a code and module which we have created using VS Code platform or any other coding platform IDE. And this is the code which we have written for integrating this platform into this platform. So this is the code. This is a standard template provided by NanoConnect itself. You just have to follow through that, and that's it. Boom, it works. And the next step is the validation. Once you have completed your development and you want to validate your integration, and this is where you can check the logs for debugging and for more information through the application details page. And this is the most helpful if there is anything goes wrong or not right. It gives you quick debugging and resolution through that validation platform page. So that is it. That is as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're all up and running with the integration. And trust me, it has been a very smooth experience we have had with NanoConnect in couple of integration we have done in recently. So that's it. Now let me hand over floor back to Abhijit.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Hardik, for all the information. Thanks to all the participants for being here and supporting us. We hope you found the sessions insightful and valuable. I hope you continue your journey with us. We would also like to schedule one-to-one meetings with all of you to explore the possibility of working with you to promote the platforms or to use it internally or with your customers. And finally, our next webinar is scheduled for 6th November. The remaining schedule is there on the screen for you. We look forward to your continued participation with us. Once again, thanks to everybody.
Thanks, Abhijit, Alex, and Hardik. First question from Neha is, what support and training options are available for organizations that are new to iPaaS?
I'll have a go at that. So we do provide comprehensive training to partners who would like to get started with the platform. That includes an onboarding pack that explains how the platform works, in addition to a walkthrough of the user interface and how to set up your very first application. Included in that onboarding pack is a number of sample or code templates and samples that introduce the developer to the different capabilities of the platform. For example, creating an API triggered application, or creating a basic request to a platform of their choice. From that to also storing data using, within the platform. There's also probably something to mention. There's not only database storage in a NoSQL database, but there's also file storage where you can archive and store your data or use it as part of warehousing for APIs and so on. So we do provide that training. And if you're interested, I suggest you first reach out to the APNA team to book in a time with them and have a conversation, and then we'd love to hear more and work with them and yourselves to onboard you into the platform as well.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Another question from Viswajit. I am eager to explore the ever-evolving world of iPaaS platform. Can you share your insight on which specific iPaaS tool you think will lead the market in the near future? I hope it's a NanoConnect, but still, let's hear from you, Alex, your viewpoint on this.
Well, I think it's a really interesting question, and a question that we asked ourselves early on before we built Nano and built NanoConnect as a solution. Having experienced a lot of low-code platforms myself and used them, I understand the benefits that they're trying to offer. In fact, most of the market today, and I would think 99% of the market today, is building solutions that they think will serve the low-code or no-code developer, the citizen developer. The problem that we have found, and I personally have found, is that with every platform like that, they end up creating their own little bubble in which people who are learning these platforms can spend months and months and months just to figure out their unique syntax in terms of how they handle data, but also just how to make things work. Whereas, and I mentioned in the example of Joe, that you can quite quickly find out that those platforms are very opinionated in the solutions that you can build. Like, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do this. In fact, the more you get into kind of building integrations at sort of a mid-market and enterprise level, those limitations become problematic. and those problems grow and grow and grow. And this low code, no code actually creates more complexity because you're kind of building these like workarounds for all of these things that it doesn't do. And then they become very fragile. So while everyone is sort of swimming in that direction and saying, we're going to build low code solutions, and we're going to make sure that the client has to deploy that on infrastructure, you know, they have to have their own servers, or we'll host the servers for you, and you end up spending a lot of money. We said, well, what does the other direction look like? If everyone ends up having to write code over there, well, what would it look like if we built tools that a developer would be familiar with, but also automated the things that they just do every single time. Like, you know, so we've created a platform upon which you can literally build anything you want, to the point of, you know, we have an application running just yesterday, a go live for a single sign-on for a client, and the application actually serves up a web page, and that's all in code in NanoConnect. You know, and you know, good luck to you if you want to try and do something like that in a low-code platform. So we think that the future of integrations is actually with code, and we know that when you plug in you know, Copilot or Code Whisperer, or, you know, plug in AI into that development piece, and we allow the developer, you know, you can use any IDE you want with our platform, and you just upload your code. And so the fact that you can have a Copilot sitting next to you and, you know, helping you write your code actually is a massive accelerator. So we think the industry's shifting, and we certainly hope that we will be at the top of that market in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Another question from Marketplace. So the question is NanoConnect has options of commercial marketplace to list various extension or connector? This question asked by Bharat.
That's Alex. That's a good question, and in fact, I think I remember Hardik even asking me that question about 3 months ago. We're very open to that. I'll be honest, the platform does not have that at the moment, and so where we're at right now is looking at how do we build our distribution and partner channels, and certainly we see India as a huge opportunity for our platform, because India is the powerhouse for developers in the world, right? This is where the most developers live in the world, and you guys need the right tools to do that job. And we think that this market is ripe for disruption. I believe that providing extensible, the ability to extend on our platform is the future for our platform. For an enterprise customer, so as in terms of our hosted solution, the answer is not yet. For an enterprise customer where we deploy our platform into their environment, what's great about NanoConnect is it's actually built in 2 layers. There is a core layer that is the engine that drives everything, and then there is a client layer, and that client layer actually allows a customer who would like to add more infrastructure. For example, maybe you need a Kinesis fire hose to take in massive amounts of data. We can extend upon the existing infrastructure and customize NanoConnect to a specific customer. But so the benefit for that customer is they're not starting from scratch. They have an existing iPaaS solution, and now they're adding functionality to it that might be very specific to them, and that can be infrastructure, and it can be additional code. It might be, maybe, AI services, for example, would be very easy to turn on as services that our platform can then provide to an integration. And we actually see AI as a key part of our future going forward as well.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. It seems you have covered another question, which was about, does NanoConnect offer customization solution to meet unique needs of different businesses? You rightly covered this.
I'd probably also relate back to something Hardik said in terms of the Appner team as well. So Appner, as a development partner, don't just build on NanoConnect. They are solution architects, and they build cloud native solutions themselves. And so if you're looking for someone to customize our platform for a specific customer, the Appner team will be able to help you to get started in that space. Absolutely.
So thanks, Alex. What reporting and analytic tools are available within the iPaaS platform to monitor network performance and uses?
Well, first of all, you don't have to worry about network performance because there's no network for you to manage. So we'll start there. Every single instance of compute is completely separate from one another, and they all operate independently. So think like, mega scale microservices for every single customer and every single integration. Yeah, so we don't charge based on users.
Yeah.
We for our hosted solution, we charge a fixed license, and we have a fair use policy around consumption, but generally most customers never get anywhere close to the consumption. It's very low cost for us to operate, and we try to keep the platform as low cost as possible. In the customer hosted solution, where you're deploying this into their environment, they're paying for the infrastructure cost. So there's just a licensing cost for that. And then the customer can build as many integrations as they like for that license price. If you're interested in pricing, once again, I suggest you reach out to the Appner team or even to ourselves. We'd be happy to walk you through that. As far as reporting goes, our platform backend is API led. And so we have an open API that allows a developer to actually fully orchestrate everything using our API. You can create apps, upload your code, do anything via the API. So if you don't like our interface, you can go and build your own if you wanted to. And so we have the tools to monitor in that how applications are performing when they started, are they active or not? But also what we found is that developers are creating their own reporting. And so I'll give an example of that. We have a customer whose integration is, so we have a developer who wants to charge their customer by the number of users or the number of active users in a particular system. And so they created a little API of their own that goes and counts how many users are in that platform and serves it up to their own billing system. And so in terms of usage and understanding, how a customer is using the platform or how your applications are going, we're so flexible that the developer can do whatever they want to provide outbound data to another system like Power BI, for example.
Thank you very much, team.
Thank you, everybody. We wrap up the session today.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.